We're approaching the end of a year. As you know, the year 2022 is fast upon us. I don't need to tell you that. You know it. You see it every day when you look at your phone or newspaper. You see that we're in the end, believe it or not, of another year. Well, I've been thinking about the question where we are right now, where we are literally, not just where we are emotionally, spiritually, but also where we are literally. Are we closer than we were a year ago, or are we farther apart? Have the strings that bound us together as families, as a collective family, community, and communities in this country, are they frayed and almost tearing? Are people falling off and no longer feeling the pull toward the center, that pull toward one another? I had the gift of officiating at a beautiful wedding a few days ago, and to see people gathered, not to see them, not photographs, to experience them, to realize what it is, to lean into a couple because we love them, adore them, admire them, want to be a part of this moment in our lives, and then to reflect on what it did, how that experience of being there for one another changes us as well, is powerful. There was a book written about 21 years ago by Robert Putnam, I believe, called Bowling Alone. It's a great evocative title. Bowling Alone, he was talking about the fact that at that point, I think it was in the year 2020, league bowling had declined by 40%. Think about that idea in a period of time. What he was saying was we were bowling alone. We're people, a nation that's no longer belonging and joining. It's something I hear about younger people, that they don't belong, that they don't join. We see that in synagogues, churches, organizations, and communities. Another thing we see is that we've shifted in some ways. People used to belong to organizations where they could serve. Think about your parents, your grandparents, or even yourselves. But now think about the shift that we've made to joining organizations that serve us. That's a paradigm shift. That's new. That isn't something that should be taken for granted. We've actually made that shift. Organizations used to be places where we could expand ourselves, where we could show our generosity to one another and impact each other. They were important parts of the social fabric of our country and the fabric of our hearts and our lives, our sense of self and character. It brings me to another thought, which is our sense of self and character. Where do we get it from? I would say that we mostly get it, from my experience, we mostly get it in relation to other people. We find out who we are in opposition, in friction. We find out who we are in love, in embrace. We find out who we are when we're engaging with other people in their lives and ours. And it makes me think about us at different points in our lives and ask the question, which is, do we ever retire from that kind of living? Do we ever have the right to retire for that kind of life? We think that retiring is retiring from our identity. We shift from being the person who did something, hold up the business card, this is who I was, to the person who no longer has an identity. Well, God forbid. I love the biblical notion that the most significant people who made it to ink on the scrolls were unskilled laborers. Moses was a shepherd, right? Think about the people in the Torah. Nobody was the CEO of anything. Everybody was counted on the basis of their character and their heart and their self and how they made a difference in people's lives. So I hope in this new year, 2022, and hopefully I'll send you some more messages. We'll see each other before the new year, that you consider impact. Ask yourself how you want to employ yourself in the year 2022, and let's engage. Let's pull together. Let's no longer bowl alone.